Specifically, our subject matter experts reviewed the following: 10 modules for the wastewater quality program, 10 modules for the water quality program, 18 modules for the wastewater treatment program, 8 modules for the industrial wastewater management program, 17 modules for the water treatment program, 11 modules for the wastewater collection program, and 9 modules for the water distribution program. Some of the programs listed were newly developed, while others were revised versions of AQA's already well-established training portfolio. ABC subject matter expert reviewed each of these programs to ensure their technical accuracy and relevance to current operator practices. ABC can affirm that AQA will be providing its members and trainees with quality training programs that offer an even greater variety of subject areas than previously offered. AQA's training programs cover the most important topics for the region and should lead to an improvement of the performance of utilities and other stakeholders in the region's water sector. Applying the insights from AQA's training programs will help AQA members, regional utilities, and their operators find more sustainable ways to manage the scarce water resources of the MENA region. On behalf of ABC, we are looking forward to seeing the impact of AQA's hard work and dedication to providing quality training to your region. We also look forward to many years ahead of mutual cooperation and the nurturing and sharing of knowledge and ideas between our two associations. Thank you.
اللي كان يتحدث هو مستر باول بيشوب، هو التشيف اكزيكيوتيف للاي بي سي، اسمه Associations of Board of Certification.
في البرامج طبعا حطيت لي فلاشة ثواني بس اكيد موجود على البرزنتيشن تبعك. هنا بقى نحط المحتوى نفسه. اللي فوق ايوه هاي تبقى السيرتيفيكيشن. طبعا الاي بي سي اعتمدت مجموعه من البرامج، برضه في الورد بانك كونسلتنت اعتمد انه برنامج النون ريفينيو ووتر، والجيرمان فيرب اللي هو جماعه الانفيت اعتمدوا لنا برنامج الووتر سيفتي مانجمنت از ويل. زي ما حكينا في هذه هي مجموعه البرامج اللي حكينا فيها جميعا. يضاف إلها اللي هو الليدرشيب امباورمنت بروجرام، أيضا هذا أندر بروسيسنج. إذا بتلاحظوا بس يعني هيك بعض الأمثلة اللي حكيت من البرامج اللي احنا اعتمدناها. لو أخذنا الووتر ديستريبيوشن، إذا بتلاحظوا في الاستراكشر لهذا البرنامج الووتر ديستريبيوشن، التريننج موديولز أو تريننج يونتس اللي تم تطويرها فور ووتر ديستريبيوشن زي ما انتم شايفين 9. أوكي، لكل موديول في اللي هي الليفلز اللي احنا محددين لكل تريننج يونت. فرضا الأوبزرفينج فريمورك اوف ووتر ديستريبيوشن سيستم ليفل 1 عنده 5 ساعات، ليفل 2 عنده ساعتين في هذا الموديول، ليفل 3 عنده ساعة، ليفل 4 0 hours، مش معني في هذا الموديول. وهكذا for the other for instance observing safety measures 6 6 10 8 etc. لليفل 1 عندنا 50 ساعة، لليفل 2 50، لليفل 3 50، لليفل 4 40. إذا بتلاحظوا الستار، الون ستار تعني إنه في يوم من هذه الأيام هو يوم تدريب عملي أو زيارات ميدانية لمواقع العمل. وإذا كانوا 2 ستارز يعني في عندنا يومين تدريبين عمليين، في يومين زيارتين. أي برنامج بتقل مدته عن 50 ساعة لازم يكون في عندنا at least 1 day practical أو study visit أو tour visit، وإذا زاد بصير في عندنا يومين. إذا رحنا على الووتر تريتمنت في عندنا حوالي 13 موديول، كمان نفس الشيء. لكل موديول حددنا الليفلز اللي احنا we are hitting، ولكل ليفل قديش حجم الساعات التدريبية المطلوبة per each موديول وللبروجرام ككل. وهكذا بالنسبة للنون ريفينيو ووتر والأذر للويست فور انستنس الويست ووتر تريتمنت في عندنا 17 موديول، الووتر كولكشن في عندنا 11 موديول، الاندستريال ويست ووتر في عندنا 8 موديولز، والووتر كواليتي في الووتر سامبلينج والى اخره حوالي في عندنا اكثر من 17 الى 22 موديول. الايزوتوبس، وهذا موضوع جديد جدا تم التطرق له اللي هو في الووتر راديولوجيكال اناليسيس اليونت مانجمنت، حوالي 13 hours of training في هذا الموضوع. الووتر سيفتي عندنا 11 موديول من 30 ل 50 ساعة تدريب، طبعا منها عملي. الووتر يوتيليتي ليدرشيب، وهذا يعني الموضوع اندر ديفلوبمنت اوريدي. احنا وي ديد ديفلوب اول 3 موديولز البرايفت سيكتور بارتيسيبيشن، البي اس بي، الفاينانسينج موداليتيز فور الووتر، والمونيتورينج اوف بابليك برايفت بارتيسيبيشنز التريبل بي. هذا already done. The others اللي هي اليوتيليتي بزنس بلاننج، اوبريشنال تول، هيومن ريسورس مانجمنت، الاي ار بي، الجفرنانس، الكوميونيكيشنز، اوبريشنال تولز، الكاستمر ريليشنز مانجمنت اتسترا، هذه still under development. شكرا لكم.
شغلك يا مولانا. انت تيجي معي معناته ما بتجيك دل تيجي معي. شكرا.
Good afternoon. My name is Christopher Lindsay, and I'm Service Director of Government Relations for the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, or IAPMO. We are an international trade organization based in the United States that focuses on the plumbing industry. The topic for my seminar today is Water Demand Management in Jordan, a new partnership to address old problems. Now, as I can imagine from the audience room, water demand management is not a new topic. However, what I'd like to do is talk about a couple technical steps that we're taking here in Jordan, as well as highlight some experiences that we've had in other countries to hopefully kind of help foster the conversation about steps that you may want to take in your own country. It's not too often that I actually have to begin my presentation with an apology up front, but in this case, it's definitely merited. As you all are all well aware, I am not there in person. I was scheduled to travel there this week. However, about 2 days before this conference started, I found out word that there were some issues arising here in Washington, D.C. that would prevent me from traveling to Jordan this week. But I did want to take you a quick picture. This is a view from my office building. As you can see, this past week we've got hit by a late spring snowstorm. And as you look at the snow on the ground, I can assure you that I would much rather be with you all down in the Dead Sea. I also want to apologize to my co-presenters from CAQA and from PCAC, I'm disappointed that I'm not there to meet them in person, and then also to hear their own presentations about the great work that they're doing on personnel training and education and certification. Before we continue any further, I'd like to walk you through a brief agenda of the items that I plan to discuss today. First off, I'll give a brief introduction to the IAPMO group so you can better understand who we are as an organization and why we do what we do. Second, I want to talk a little bit about what is at stake and provide some extra context. You know, for us, water demand management is about conserving water, but it's also about so much more, and I want to kind of lay a little bit of the groundwork for that. Third, I want to talk about how standards can be very important tools for you to use in your own countries as you look to tackle water demand management issues. It really becomes the common language for industry and government as they seek to tackle these issues. And I wanted to highlight a few of the countries where we've been working, hopefully to generate some ideas for you as you return home with a few key takeaways. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank CAQA for allowing us to put together this seminar. And I appreciate their tremendous support, particularly with my last-minute cancellation on being able to travel there. I'm sorry that I have missed the events surrounding Arab Water Week. As I mentioned earlier, the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, or IAPMO, we are an international trade organization that focuses on the technical parts of the plumbing industry. We were established in 1926, so we have over 90 years of experience working on these systems. Our world headquarters is located in California, and we have 200 plus employees with offices in 11 countries. We have wonderful relationships with government and non-governmental organizations. In the U.S., from where I sit here in Washington, D.C., we work very closely with the U.S. EPA, our Department of Energy, our Department of Commerce, and USAID, as well as with non-government organizations, anywhere from the World Plumbing Council and the World Health Organization to the various standards and certifying international bodies. We do quite a bit of work internationally. We have MOUs with numerous entities throughout Europe, China, South America, and we've done a lot of work in the Middle East as well, and we're heavily working in the Asia-Pacific region. As you can see from the slide, some of the activities that we actually do is we do create a plumbing code. As you know, the United States, we produce standards and technical regulations are developed a little bit differently than they are throughout the rest of the world. Rather than a government agency taking the sole responsibility for codes and standards development, and we rely on organizations in the private sector, organizations like IAPMO. And so IAPMO, we do produce a code of installation practices for plumbing systems, mechanical systems, pools, solar systems, you name it, anywhere where water is used in the built environment. And then we also produce product standards for several of these items as well. And then in turn, local jurisdictions, both at the state, national, and federal level here in the United States, take those voluntary standards and then adopt them into law where they're able to be enforced. And so we have over 100 years of experience in helping out develop regulations that are used at all levels of government. In turn, when we partner with international bodies, we provide them with turnkey solutions that they can easily adapt to their own specific needs. In the United States, we do provide education and training, and we go directly to plumbers, architects, and engineers. Internationally, we actually partner with the government entities and universities and so forth that provide these training and to help them with just curriculum development and so forth. We also are a major testing and certification laboratory, and we help both the United States government and also governments around the world with ensuring that they can protect their marketplace and they get products into their market that meet the standards that they have. And really, as you can kind of think of it simply, we focus on where people come in contact with water. As we think about our work, we recognize that we sit at the confluence of public health and sustainability. Now, confluence, as many of you know, is an English word that represents it's the point where two rivers come together. And as you can even know from your own responsibilities in the water industry, public health is our number one concern. At the same token, as you can see from this map on the slide by Aqueduct, we also recognize that there's tremendous water stresses in the world. And so sustainability, water conservation, water demand management have to be another area that falls only second to public health and safety. As this map does a great job illustrating, water scarcity affects more than 40% of the global population, and it's only projected to rise. Currently, over 1.7 billion people are living in river basins where water use exceeds recharge. This slide helps to illustrate the public health consequences of the work that we're all engaged in. Now, many of you know the statistics. 2.5 billion people worldwide do not have access to improved sanitation. And additionally, there's another 768 million people rely on unimproved drinking water sources. As you look on the left-hand part of the slide, it shows what urban access looks like to improved water sources as well as to improved sanitation. The darker areas represent developed countries, and the see-through bars represent developing countries, such as in Africa, Asia, and African American throughout the Caribbean. On the right-hand side is the rural access equivalent. As you can see, definitely we have much more work to do on both sides of the chart. And we all recognize that this has real-life consequences. More than 2 million people die every year from diarrheal diseases. And of course, poor hygiene and unsafe water are responsible for nearly 90% of these deaths, which mostly impact children. So now that we've talked about the public health consequences of our work, as well as the water stresses faced around the world, where do we begin? How do we begin to create industries that can support the water and sanitation resources that are required? From our experiences, this is where standards come into play. They become the language by which industry and private sector can collaborate together to address and tackle these problems. So first off, standards for us address the question of how systems should be organized. They become the technical framework or the blueprint or the national plan for how the systems in that country will be installed. And for us, it's about government